Good flipping afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is another Finn's Tailgate Network episode of Afternoon Color Commentary with yours truly, Culler, bringing the commentary. It's evening on the East Coast. I know I'm a little late. I had some AC issues after the storm yesterday, and I've got it blowing cold now, and it is feeling good. Oh, finally. So I'm a little late on the East Coast. Midwest hitting you right at afternoon, and you guys on the West Coast and Mountain Time. It's right around 2 o'clock for you. So it's perfect anyway. We got some pressers to look at from the rest of the coaches. And I'll tell you who I think is going to start right after this. In the meantime, while you're waiting on the intro, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and hit the poll, the current poll, as you're walking in, settling in on this Friday afternoon, evening. Who should start Monday? We already got 5 of you chimed in. Well, more than that, a little more than that, 9 of you chimed in. Do you think it should be Snoop? Do you think it should be Himothy, as Pete likes to call him? Or who was it that called him that? Himothy. It don't matter. Or would you rather just go with the Wildcat altogether and not even use a quarterback? We'll see. We'll see what the offensive coordinator has to say. And we will also check out what Weaver has to say. He is another brilliant one, and I think we're going to have him here for a long, long time. So settle in, chat it up, hit the like button. I will be right back.
just like you approach every week. Getting the plan as hard as I can, and just watching film and just prepare like I'm gonna start. But that's what we continue to work on.
You enjoy the spotlight?
Yeah, it's nothing. It's football at the end of the day. Been playing football since I was yay high. So yeah.
Shout out to the hometown kid, Tyler Huntley, who a lot would speculate could be looking to head to his first start here in Miami. Man, it's almost like, wow, you come into town and all of a sudden, you know how we are. We want to put you on up on our shoulders and king you the next guy. We are so starved of a quarterback, it's unreal. We're talking about Tyler Huntley, and look at the smile on his face. He don't even get it. He's like, I thought I was just coming to Miami, play some ball, back up, do whatever, sling the rock, run around, and no. It's probably the biggest firestorm he's had to endure in his career so far. And you can see the smile on his face ear to ear. He definitely looks excited. That's definitely for sure, Kenna. Good afternoon to you, Kenna, as well as everybody else in chat. You guys let a Bills fan get here first. Sean with Red, White, and Bills. How's it going? John Featherland, Scott Jackson, Tim Washington, and of course, Joe Rist. I see you all. Got Jersey Dolphins in here. Utah Fin fan joining us from Twitter. If you are, or formerly known as Twitter, now known as X, if you're over there with him, come over and give us a subscribe, but like I'm sure he did. Hit the like button. We certainly love to have you around. Michael K is in chat, everybody. Watch out. He's ready to keep us all on our toes. Marino's GOAT, Jamie Reichart, and of course, Hal 9000. I could go on all day. 310, Mike, you're it. Anybody else? You get a hello. You get the default group hello. 310, Mike's the last one that gets one. Unless I missed you. And if I missed you, you get the best hello of them all. So let's get this going on. Look, I'm kind of starting to resign myself to say, hey, first of all, after the press conferences, kind of like they say, trust the process. We hear that a lot, but I'll tell you what, I'm having a hard time. I'm really having a hard time trusting the process. We're gonna go through these talks, and I'm not afraid to tell you what I think about what they're saying. I've already ran through them real quick while I was fixing my AC. God, y'all don't even know. It was, it was nice having the wind, from the storm passing through and all that, and it wasn't quite as hot as it could have been, but anybody knows if you're from South Florida and your AC goes out, the whole day shuts down. You have to get that fixed. That's like getting stranded on the side of the road. You're calling out of work. You're taking your special sick day, whatever you got to do, because everything halts when your air conditioning goes out in South Florida. Fortunately, it just turned out to be a bum thermostat, so I was able to fix it myself and run over to Wally World. I have to walk these days. But all being said, I'm starting to get nice and cooling down. Was listening to the press conferences in my ear, and I'm thinking, wow, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Look, when I first started the week, given everything that's happened, now this is with my belief in a guy like Tyler Huntley to, come in, be athletic, give it all his heart, and put it out all on the field. But if that was ever enough, he'd probably be a big time starter. already. So let's be real as to what Tyler Huntley is going to bring to the table in Miami. I don't think we're talking about anything long term. Let's be real. Tim Boyle, neither. I mean, both these guys, unless one of them wants. Look, if you're talking about even if Huntley is absolutely balling out and looks like he might be the next Geno Smith, I still would have to see it for a whole year. But so I don't think anybody should have their expectations that if Tua for some reason fails to come back, yeah, Tyler will get us in the playoffs. I'm sure he's good enough to do that. He did it for Baltimore. And hey, you never know. There's always the you never know if Mike McDaniel gets his head on straight. And I think Tyler Huntley is sufficient enough quarterback to go all the way with if you're running the type of stuff we're trying to run. One of our coaches said it in one of his answers today, and it caught my ear. So I'll pause when we get to that and explain what I mean. Stay tuned. Keep listening. Chat with everybody in chat. They're all here. Mr. Majestic just showed up. Finn's Rule. Shula the Dawn. I see you all in there. 50 of you watching so far. Appreciate you joining me this evening. I am going to carry you all until the drive time. Drive time starts at 7 o'clock tonight. Shake Money. Running it like always. Open panel Friday night. Anybody can come up. Speak your mind. Blow your steam off. We haven't had too many of them this week. I mean, it's obviously been. Look, when there's so much up in the air, all you're going to do is have a bunch of grown men and women arguing with each other. So what's the point? You know what I mean? I know it's fun for some of y'all. Some of y'all come here for that, but I mean, it just spends a lot of energy to go nowhere. You know, I'd rather, hey, I might have disconnected there. If I did, my apologies. If I'm coming in and out here, but I mean, to tell you, y'all know I ain't afraid of spending calories on an argument. Everybody knows that. But it has to be worth something in the end. I mean, come on, you know. I've never gotten excited for no reason. Come on, it might be a stupid reason, but never no reason. Anyway, excuse me. That was quite an eventful storm that passed by Florida yesterday and ran up onto the coast in some places on the West Coast, making landfall. If you all remember from yesterday's show, when I first started the show around 2:30, 3 o'clock, I pulled up the map and I showed you all why I thought it would hit and make landfall right about Steinhatchee, maybe a click to the north. And I even remember saying, I've never heard of Steinhatchee. Well, we have video footage. I mean, I'm not going to play it today. I'm not a weather channel, you know what I mean? But there's video footage on Twitter that will show you a remote webcam that actually caught what it looks like, what the storm surge looks like at landfall in guess where? Steinhatchee, Florida, just south of Perry. And after it made landfall right where I predicted it would, it ran up into Tallahassee and Georgia and Atlanta, who was quite unprepared for the type of storm that is. For what reason, I don't know. It's not as if Georgia's never been hit by hurricanes. And this thing by the morning time was stretching all the way from some squall lines coming into New Jersey all the way to Waynesville, Missouri. Now, if those of you that aren't familiar with where Waynesville, Missouri is at, it's pretty far west, southwest down I-44, heading towards Oklahoma. And it's the little town that sits right, that basically encompasses what is Fort Leonard Wood Army Base, way out west in Missouri. That's how far this storm stretched across, its precipitation stretched across the United States. As far north as Springfield, Illinois, approaching Chicago this morning. Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, I saw underneath rain from it. It's just absolutely amazing. I think just about everybody on the eastern half of the United States was affected in some way by this storm. All the way from what will be Maine, all the way down, and as far west as possibly even Kansas. If the forecast track is for it to sit there and churn and die off and rain itself out right around the boot heel of Missouri. So those of you in Missouri along the Mississippi, those of you in Arkansas, Louisiana, north of Missouri along the Mississippi, be careful, pay attention to what's going on, because you might have one of those, you have the makings and the setup for one of those, decade or two long events that really floods the place out. So everybody pay attention to what's going on, please, and be ready for those types of floods in Missouri along the Mississippi. Enough of that doom and gloom. On to the other doom and gloom. I don't know. I thought originally when I started the week, back to my original thoughts, to start the week, I thought, okay, Mike McDaniel, let me analyze. We're all, like I always say, we're all pattern recognition machines. So I thought, let me try to identify McDaniel's patterns and what we would call his MO, his modus operandi, the way he goes about doing things, his epistemology, if you, whatever you want to call it. And we all look at him and go, okay, we know how he operates. We all want to see a guy with some heart that can make something happen on a team that obviously doesn't want to help their quarterback make it happen. And we know Huntley he ain't Lamar Jackson, but he tries to play as such. And he's got great physical abilities. And he's not dumb. So we're all like, yeah, McDaniel, what's the obvious move here? You know what I mean? If nobody can run the offense the way you want to run it, except for Tua, then don't run that offense. And if you can't build one quick enough and complex enough, Huntley's your guy. That's football 101. So that's why the fan base is right away like, plus, Florida kid, all that stuff. Oh, yeah, that's another thing too, Kevin, with all this moisture heading up north along the seaboard, and anybody in the eastern portion of the storm and places like Missouri where you naturally get tornadoes, pay attention to the skies. But, and it's like, so Huntley, to us fans, we're like, obviously, we've already resigned ourselves to losing. Why are we going to... what would be the difference between a guy that crashed out with the Jets or a guy that sitting on the practice squad because Lamar and the guy behind Lamar are just a little bit better than him? What's the difference? Well, the difference is it's something we want to watch, and we're the fans. Let's be real. And I hope we're starting to get indications. And I'll read an article from what's his name? Chris Perkins. I believe it's Chris Perkins. Let me make sure. Yeah, Chris Perkins. And he makes a case for not only why Mike McDaniel will start Boyle this week, along the same reasons that I stated earlier in the week, because Mike McDaniel knows he's been here longer. He knows the offense. He was drafted by LaFleur, which is a big-time West Coast guy. Boyles operate as a 6 to 8 year veteran that's operated in the West Coast his whole career. He's had more time to learn McDaniel's language, as I keep telling y'all. If you want to call it a wrinkle, whatever you want to call it. And so I think Mike McDaniel is a guy that operates on a lot of what he trusts, which is why we saw Skyler starting in the first place. You all think he's just, putting out like, oh, I gotta say this about Skyler. No, I think I made it pretty good case yesterday that he truly believes in the guy. For reasons we won't know until they play out on the field, if they ever do, which most of us doubt they do. So he could just be wrong. Okay, but for a lot of those same reasons that he believes in, that he would go with Skyler, he would also go with Tim Boyle. So the logical choice, if you're trying to be an analyst, and me, I try to play amateur analyst, I am by no means the guy. You know what I mean? Like I said, tell you all, I'm just a guy on the internet. But the logical choice here, if you're trying to predict what Mike McDaniel would do, is Tim Boyle's going to get the start. But that's no fun to talk about. I'll end up arguing with you all night as to why we should go with Huntley when I agree with you. You know what I mean? So that's no fun. So I decided, I've been mulling it over all week. I talked to, forget who I was talking to in chat yesterday on another channel. It wasn't yesterday, and it wasn't on another channel. It was on the Finn's Tailgate, an episode of Insomnia last night, this morning at 3 a.m. Good job, Shake. Crypto. And I saw you in chat, Crypto. How you doing? Capitan's in chat, it looks like. C. Heffel coming in. Louis Medina. So, and Kevin, of course. So it was like 3 a.m. and we're all in chat. Good, healthy showing last night, guys. I mean, look, y'all, like, there was a few, for a show at 3, 4 a.m. that's pre-recorded, we had a good, like, 25, 30 people watching it at a couple spots. And, of course, the special Capitan popped in. I didn't know. I mean, it was a pre-record, so it was the other day when they did it. But Capitan popped in and joined them to give his pick'ems for the week. So make sure if you didn't catch it, go back and watch it before Sunday. And they recorded it before last night's game. So you'll get to see at least one game, whether they were right or wrong. That's always cool, too. It's up to a Tuesday. Cap for Life. Cap for Life, thanks, buddy, for the $10 donation coming in hot, saying, Culler, you're our guy, bro. I appreciate that, Cap. And, of course, appreciate the generosity. You can follow Cap's generosity if you would like to. You can do that by super chatting or hitting us on Cash App, Venmo, and I don't remember the rest. But just ask. We'll find you some way. Hey, you could even do a super thanks after the show, even if you're watching a recorded episode. One thing you also need to do is go to TFTGnetwork.com, because that's where all of our stuff is for socials, all the content for YouTube, links to get here, links to get to our merchandise store. So everything pretty much is right there for you to get to. So the best thing to do is bookmark that page, TFTGnetwork.com. Hey, even make it your homepage if you're a diehard. And that way, when you open up your browser, all the links to everywhere, our socials, all of it will be right there, including links to, these shows. HB is doing a great job of putting that website together to pepper it with content from all of our different avenues. Plus, you can hit us up on Apple and Spotify podcasts now, too. So we're busy chopping episodes up, cleaning them up, getting stuff out that nobody wants to hear to be able to put them on that platform. So keep it coming, keep listening, keep watching. We're keeping it coming. So Appreciate y'all. So I decided last night, gosh, I wish I remember who I was talking to because I'd like to give him the credit. But I was like, you know what? I think for the show today, which was supposed to be this morning and then early this afternoon, and then now, like, I'm just going to go with Huntley. I'm just going to go with it. So we have something to talk about tonight on Shake's Drive Time. We have something to talk about on Ali's show Saturday night. And of course, Insomnia, the live version of Insomnia is on Saturday at midnight. That would be Sunday morning, midnight. So make sure your bookmark. Hey, hit this notification. Hit your notification bell. I mean, tell it to notify you when you see it on your feed because we got content lined right up like soldiers for y'all. So, and again, I'll be carrying you right into 7:00 for Shake tonight with the drive time with it for the open panel. So anybody that wants to know if I'm dropping the link, no. But again, you're gonna have Shake with the drive time right after. I did already set up the redirect. I figured out how to do that. So I set up the redirect that if you hang out here and wait for my show to actually end, like when I hit the end live stream button, it'll automatically redirect you over there or provide you a link to click to get over there. So we're going to raid Shake Show right out the gate. But before we do that, we're going to get into some stuff here and these pressers I want to watch with you real quick. And we'll try to have a hard stop right around 6:55. What do y'all think? That'll work for me. Okay, so the first thing I was thinking when I start to assess, do I even talk about Tyler Huntley? Well, yeah, I've decided because again, there's who else do you want to talk about, right? One of the things I noticed, first bit of interesting tidbit, I looked at the depth chart. Currently, Skylar Thompson is QB1. Obviously, he's injured. They haven't adjusted it since then, but we put Tyler Huntley as QB2 right out the gate and Tim Boyle at 3 on the Dolphins depth chart as it shows currently right now. Whether that's real information or not, I can't tell you. It's MiamiDolphins.com, so it's up to them to update it. So I suspect, that there might be a little credence to the idea that McDaniel may, in fact, get out of his norm and go with Huntley and just have fun with it. Look, that's all I'm calling. I said it last night again, too. This team just needs to have fun. Mike McDaniel needs to quit overthinking everything and just call plays and let the guys have fun. If you can't do that, the season's worthless anyway. And then you'll be at a point where that's all you have to play for is having fun. And you don't want to be in that spot. Put the hometown kid in him. Let him play with some heart and bring some heart back to this football team. That's one thing. It's so complex and everything's timing and this and that. Ain't nobody having fun anymore. We're not having fun as fans. We're not having fun watching the same old stuff over. Oh, only this stuff succeeds and this stuff fails and this stuff ends up in a crazy mess. Well, that crazy mess can be mitigated with a guy like Tyler Huntley and his ability to scoot. I'd be telling Tyler, yo, we're going to run the ball. We're going to call these pass plays. And we're probably going to call some complex pass plays for you to get the ball to Tyreek. Maybe some deep throws, whatever. And for what if there's a second hesitance, second thought you can't run this play after the snap of the ball, get the hell out of that pocket and get some yardage, however you got to get it. and they should be practicing comeback drills. We could own teams. That's why I was baffled when I saw that we didn't practice comeback drills with Tua and all that. We're just expecting that front line stuff to just work. And if it don't, oh well, game's over. Nah. Huntley gives you that ability to get out right away. Oh, this ain't gonna. I can already see with the flow of the offensive line, this ain't gonna happen. Get out of there. Wide receivers recognize he's out of the pocket. They either come back or shoot long, whatever they're programmed to do based on a comeback drill, or you call it a scramble drill, because they don't always. Not every one of them is coached to come back per se. We used to just call them comeback drills because in high school that's the best thing for you to do. Come back to the quarterback. But anyway, with a guy like Tyler, I mean, he has the ability to throw it on the run. I mean, so many things can happen. These 3rd and 2s that and then we get backed up, so it turns into a 3rd and 8 or a 3rd and 12. Huntley can still pick a few of those up instead of just dumping off a screen or a delay run or something. When we get in a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, when I'm calling a game, one of the things I say is, "Oh, we're in a manageable 3rd down." That's something I picked up off all the great commentators. I didn't make that up, but there's a reason they're saying it. Because you ideally your 1st and 2nd down success is whether you get gash yardage. Generally speaking, you're expecting to be on 3rd down every series. So your 1st and 2nd down is meant to make sure that 3rd down is manageable. Well, when I think of the word manageable being anywhere from under four to under 4 yards, especially a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, when you're at the game, do you realize how short 3 yards looks in real life? It makes you wonder how we can't get a 1st down on every play. I know that's a false thought. I'm just saying that's what it seems like. These distances aren't as long as you think they are. Tyler Huntley can make up 3 yards just in half a scramble. That's manageable. That's managing that manageable 3rd down. Oh, bang, we were going to do this. We might have even 3rd and 2, we might play action and take a deep shot. Oh, crap, but it's not there. Oh, but I could still scramble, possibly pick up that 2 yards myself, or even dump it to somebody on the scramble. What's up, Bones? Context, how you doing? B. McD, and of course, Shekel just joined us in chat. How's everybody doing? This fine, warm South Florida evening. Actually, it's not as bad as it is, because them hurricanes tend to pull out that heat, that real heavy heat, and the humidity. Currently, I'm looking at, well, actually, it's showing currently 89 degrees. It is pretty warm, but it's so dry, relatively speaking, for what it normally is. It actually, yeah, 90% rain chance. I can't find, don't have the humidity right on this tab. I'm not going to look at it too deeply, but I'm not sweating bullets right now in the air conditioning, so it is definitely drier. Yeah, it is nice and up here, Bones. Kind of rained a little today, but it's turning into one of those, like, nights where you're like, you feel like, why am I sitting here with Culler? I should be out doing something right now. Sitting out on the patio, having some tea, like some Long Island teas or something. Like all the Bocaites right now are sitting on their patios. All the people in Boca and Boynton and all them gated communities. People like Von Joe, all them uppity people. Them patricians in our society. They're all, especially Von Joe. They're all sitting out on their patio right now. They got a mojito in their hand, cigar in the other, just chilling and out by the pool, looking up at the beautiful sunset that's about to happen and turn the sky all pink and blue and looks like Miami Dolphins colors. Yeah, there's a reason we have the colors we do. Not just the dolphin, it's just the whole environment. I love it. It's home. Speaking of home, tonight we got the Hurricanes playing. I was about to say Patriots. I was thinking of my Floridian patriotism. But because I don't know how others go, but I will go as Florida goes. The is playing, I believe, Virginia Tech tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody, if you can correct me. Yeah, I know, AB. Von Joe's definitely wearing a silk robe. You got it. And it's probably like maroon or forest green. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's what I'd be wearing. Maroon was my high school colors anyway, so I'd definitely rock a maroon robe. Let's see tonight. Did somebody already post it? Yeah, Virginia Tech, Kevin says. And I think it's 7 or 7:30. I saw a game when I was looking for parking tickets for the Tennessee game. I noticed some available for the Canes game tonight, and I think it was 7:30. ESPN, and I believe is on tonight. Should be the only college football on tonight that's worth a dang. ESPN. I need to pull this site up anyway because we got to talk about things about our game anyway. Don't already have it up. I'm not prepared today. Sorry. What can I say? I'm just a guy on the internet. Ooh, I didn't want to pull up that page. That's an ugly page. That's power index and projections and all that. Well, we don't talk about that yet this year. That's not for us this year. Not yet. Yep, 7:30 ESPN, and yep. You also, no, yeah, it looks like the only ball on tonight. Let me see the schedule. You do have Washington at Rutgers. I don't think anybody. It's on Fox. I don't know if anybody really cares so much, but I do know that Washington is likely to be watched by DTA. DTA is a Washington fan, huge Washington fan. But tonight you do have Virginia Tech going into Hard Rock to take on the number 7 ranked Miami Hurricanes. Tickets are as low as $28, which, by the way, are $7 more expensive than Monday Night Football for the Miami Dolphins. I cannot begin to describe to you the fallacy and all that. Dolphins injury report currently from their website. I'm not going to mess around with waiting on everybody to report. All of these statuses are game status unspecified. Yeah, Teron Armstead did not practice yesterday nor today with a concussion. Calais Campbell had rest on Wednesday, did not practice yesterday. I'm sorry, his injury was rest. It wasn't an injury, but he took rest day. Did not practice yesterday, and I don't know what they have for today. It's some weird symbol. Maybe today was the rest day. I don't know. Kendall Fuller still in concussion protocol, did not practice today. David Long did not practice with a hamstring. Coach Weaver does answer whether he thinks he's going to be ready to go or not. We'll catch that in just a second. Saron Neal, same thing. Limited practice today. Storm Duck, limited practice. Coach really believes in him, man. Coach Weaver really believes in that guy. Alec Ingold, full practice today. Raheem Mostert, limited practice. That's good. Limited practice yesterday as well. Skylar Thompson had limited practice yesterday and today. Malik Washington with limited practices and a quadricep injury. Jalen Phillips. Of course, they still have him. Achilles probably a little sore and also a shoulder now. Full practice yesterday, full practice today. Tyreek Hill, rest day and limited practice today. That would be the injuries for the Miami Dolphins. On the other side of the ball, you got Chidobe Awuzie. Didn't practice. He's out for game status. DeAndre Hopkins, unspecified, full practice today. Jeffrey Simmons, also unspecified, but did not practice today. L'Jarius Sneed, full practice today. Game status unspecified. Amari Hooker with it says a face injury, safety, limited practice today. And of course, Jalen Duncan with a shoulder injury had limited practice today. All unspecified to return. One other move the Dolphins made yesterday. Miami Dolphins signed Neil Farrell to the practice squad. Miami Dolphins announced they have signed defensive tackle Neil Farrell to their practice squad, according to the Dolphins website. Farrell has appeared in 12 career games with Vegas, they write, in 2022 and Kansas City in 2023. He's recorded 13 tackles, 4 solo, 1 pass defended, and 2 tackles for a loss. He originally entered the league as a 4th-round selection by the Vegas Raiders, played collegiately at LSU, where he appeared in 52 career games with 21 starts and recorded 144 tackles, 55 solos, 7.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 5 passes defended. Seems like a pretty stout guy. I know Weaver, based on what I'm starting to think about Weaver and his coaching ability, I'm thinking Weaver will definitely have a guy like him up to speed in no time. Probably nothing huge to write home about, but a good solid depth piece there. Yeah, 325. Well, Kevin, it's interesting because Coach today, and we'll hear Coach talk about it in a minute, mention the need to get better at stopping the run. So, something like that could certainly help. He also talked in terms of earning the right to rush the passer. I love that. I've seems so simple, but I've really never heard anybody put it that way before. It was really interesting. You'll be able to hear him say it himself here in a sec. The other thing I want to show you or talk about is Chris Perkins writes about Skylar Thompson. He tries to make a case for Thompson. Of course, not to start this week. He's obviously not going to be ready, but to continue starting when he gets back from injury. Excuse me. From Miami Gardens, Perkins writes, I think Skylar Thompson, when healthy enough, should get another start at quarterback for the Dolphins. Let me and by the way, Dave Fioronis retweeted it and asked for people's thoughts. So it's not like this is an outrageous thing that only Pete can come up with. But because of Pete, it has now become live breaking news. According to Chris Perkins, Pete's idea of continuing with Skylar Thompson when healthy is a good idea. according to Chris Perkins. CB83, I will not be. However, I'm carrying you guys for another hour and 15 minutes, all the way up to 7 o'clock, where I have an automatic redirect already in place to go to Shake's drive time, which starts at 7 o'clock, and that will be open panel. So you're certainly welcome to join us, as always. I'm sure the guys will love putting you on the grill and serving you up, bro. So certainly come and join us, and as well as anybody else that wants to get their voice out. I see Pete in chat too. How you doing, Pete? Manolo Ribeiro. I'm sure we'll see Pete up on the drive time. We haven't heard CB83 and Pete go at it in a while. We got to get a CB83 Pete debate going on. Well, if it's so easy, CB83, go ahead and bring the pepper on over. Shake will sprinkle it on you. What's up, somebody important? Everybody say hi to somebody important who says, yo, Culler, how you doing, somebody important? And I'm saying it's somebody important. You always got to say hi to somebody important. I'm a little starstruck, as a matter of fact. But yes, I was, Manolo. And I don't think it was because of the storm, but my AC did go out yesterday, so I was kind of roasting here for all night and most of the day until I went out and got a thermostat. I had to wait for an AC guy to come tell me what I needed to do, and he wanted to go have lunch, so he didn't sell it to me, which would have been like $400. He's like, tell you what, I'm going to save you $400. All it needs is a thermostat. And he obviously assessed that I was a smart enough guy to wire it up. You know what I mean? So he's like, just look, you just here, and they go in the same spot and blah, 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 and do this and that, and you're good. I'm like, all right, bet. So that was like, instead of $400, that was $30, you know. So, where was I at? Oh, I know. Before I get into the Skylar Thompson article, Chris Perkins. Sorry, the strain is really good this week. And he goes on to write, I know that's not a popular opinion right now. Hear me out on this one and think about it. Skylar won't start Monday night against Tennessee. Of course, we all know that. But he goes on to write, it appears from watching practice Thursday and Friday, his injured ribs won't allow him ample movement. Boyle, I think it should be Boyle for Monday night. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a sentence. He says either Tim Boyle or Tyler Snoop Huntley will start at quarterback for the Dolphins. I think it should be Boyle. Boyle has been here longer and knows the offense better than Snoop, who was signed on September 21st. But when Skylar is medically cleared, I think he should start. He's best suited for the job. To me, it's a matter of history versus recency. I'm going with history. I'm not willing to toss aside more than 2 years of training and investment based on 3 poor quarters from a Seattle road game in which no one played well. I wish I could write like that, because that's exactly how I feel when I hear people just absolute trashing the guy. The Dolphins coach, Mike McDaniel, general manager Chris Greer, offensive coordinator Frank Smith, quarterbacks coach Darrell Bevel have seen Thompson since day one. They drafted him. They put him through a training camp competition against Mike White. Skylar won. I agreed with that decision, and I still do. The bigger question here is how it took a span of about 2 weeks for the Dolphins to go from one of the NFL's best quarterback situations to one of the league's worst. And I have to ask myself, is it possible the Dolphins bungled their entire quarterback situation from giving Tua the contract extension to making Skylar the backup to releasing Mike White? Is it possible this whole thing is a house of cards? I didn't agree with the Dolphins giving Tua the 4-year, $212 million contract extension. I based my objection on health and durability reasons, he writes. I also didn't agree with the decision to release White. I figured you'd want to keep 3 quarterbacks who all knew this offense. After all, I'm old enough to remember the days when the Miami Dolphins lost their starting quarterback, Tua, and then quickly lost each of the 2 backups, Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater, for small amounts of time. I'd hate to think the Dolphins didn't learn anything from those days. I'd hate to think the Dolphins were arrogant or naive enough to think Tua wouldn't get injured. And if he did get injured, they're good enough coaches and the system is good enough that they could get any quarterback up to speed quickly. If any of that is true, this whole thing is a house of cards, and the Dolphins badly bungled the quarterback situation. Understand something. I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative in asking whether the Dolphins fumbled on the quarterback position. I'm the only one who keeps reminding Dolphin fans that there's a path to the playoffs, and it's the same path you've taken the previous 2 seasons. Beat the non-playoff teams on your schedule. In 2022, the Dolphins went 9-8, and 7 of those wins came against non-playoff teams. In 2023, the Dolphins went 11-6, and 10 of those wins came against non-playoff teams. Follow that same path in 2024. Beating non-playoff teams probably gets you 80 to 90% of the way to the playoffs. Even with the uncertainty at quarterback, the Dolphins have a clear path and plenty of talent. Wide receivers Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, running backs Devon Achane, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Jalen Wright, tight end Jonnu Smith, right tackle Austin Jackson, center Aaron Brewer, corner, he lists our whole offense, and a couple defensive players. The guys who get the big bucks and got big bucks over the offseason, McDaniel, Hill, Waddle, and Ramsey, need to do the most significant work. No excuses. Get to the playoffs. I understand there are difficulties at quarterback. And actually, I started off talking about quarterbacks, so let's get back to that, he writes. Yes, it's definitely possible that the Dolphins are looking at starting either Huntley or Boyle at quarterback on Monday night against Tennessee because they basically mishandled the most important position in the NFL. But it's also possible the Dolphins were right about quarterback, or at least partly right. We don't have final answers yet. I'm willing to give this thing one more time. I think Skyler deserves a second shot. I mean, I couldn't have wrote that better myself. There it is in text. I don't have to repeat it 1,000 times anymore. I could just point you to that Chris Perkins article. I can just link you to it. Great job, Chris. I told you all it was going to look ugly. Even if I was leaning on Skyler's past, let's say moniker of success with the Buffalo game. Even with that, I still told you it's probably going to look ugly. We're flying out to Seattle. That's a well-coached football team who has aspirations to keep winning. The team was going to need to go above and beyond even for Tua. I don't know how people cannot stop thinking that that's making a comparison to Tua. It's just simply to say, yes, he's not near as good as Tua. Fine. But he's also not near bad enough, based on just what happened in Seattle. Well, that too, Manolo. When I say the team didn't go above and beyond, since what Mike McDaniel wants to call them all teammates, I'm including him when I say team. From now on, by the way, that just made me think of that, Manolo. Thank you. From now on, when I say team, I'm including McDaniel because he's obviously put himself in the locker room. He's obviously put himself in the bunks right next to the soldiers. So he's part of the squad. From now on, you heard it here first. Now everybody will be saying, when I talk about team, I'm including McDaniel. Watch, you're going to hear it across all the YouTube channels from here for the next few days. Watch. I bet Florio might even pick that one up. Before the season started, I will stress this again. You can go back and listen to our show. Before the season started, I had us losing in Seattle. I would have still picked us to win. Like I would have still expected to win during the week and told you all how we're going to beat Seattle. But before the season started, when I said blah, 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 record wins and losses, one of those losses was, in my opinion, going to be Seattle. We don't have the mental fortitude. We got people out there, half of our fan base that is convinced with good reason. I'm not throwing shade here. We got half our fan base is convinced that this team is soft. What makes you think they were ever going to be able to win against Jacksonville, win against Buffalo, and travel the longest distance you can in the United States mainland and beat a Seattle team with intentions on winning? I never saw it happening. So that was always going to be a loss. When you lose your quarterback, you're like, okay, even more now. That was always going to be a loss. It's almost understandable when you look at it from a professional job standpoint that the boss just gave them the week off. Let them all check out. See what we can put together with Skyler on a limited game plan and blah, blah, blah. Don't expect much. And that, unfortunately for McDaniel, he learned a lesson that you can't do that in the NFL. That gets people hurt. We're without a pass rusher right now that we had before because of that. You got to play enough to make it respectable. And then maybe you can steal a win out there with Skyler. But what you did was completely throw him under the bus. And half the community is out there doing donuts on him. Well, I'm glad Chris Perkins wrote that because I'm standing here with you with Chris Perkins to say, if that's what McDaniel does, then guess what? I'm going to appeal to the same authority that you all have been asking me to appeal to when it comes to Tua for 4 years, and that's Mike McDaniel. And then when I say we should trust Mike McDaniel, and that's called keeping the same energy. That keeping the same energy includes now that we've decided Mike McDaniel has made his choice and we trust Mike McDaniel, now it's stop trashing our quarterback one, please. Can we do that? Y'all asked me to, came at me hard, ask the Tua haters not to, and they still do, but whatever. But don't trash people in our uniform like that. You can say you don't like somebody. You can say they suck. You can say whatever. But to make a campaign out of every time somebody even talks about the guy, somebody's got to butt in and be like, bro, that guy shouldn't even be in the league. Why? We know. Okay, we know. If Mike McDaniel decides to go with him, we already know how you feel about him. Go start your own platform like some people I know have and shout it to the heavens. That's your right. But don't sit here and expect me, to not keep the same energy you've expected me to keep, which is trusting and appealing to Mike McDaniel's authority. If he can fix Tua, he can fix anybody. Well, it's going to take a week or two, people. The guy just got back into live bullets after 2 years removed from a Buffalo. I'm not going to keep saying it. If that loses us the season because Mike McDaniel chose to give Skyler a real shot where he's backing him up just like he did Tua, see, that's what y'all are missing. Mike McDaniel is keeping the same energy with Skyler that he's kept with Tua. That's what disgusts me about it, about people trashing Skyler. That's why we have to bash Mike McDaniel now. Because if we don't, we have to respect his decision to back Skyler. Just like we did his decision to back Tua and continue to back him. In case you haven't seen the latest gaslighting propaganda on the web that's telling me that Tua is going to be do you believe? Now do you see how it is without Tua? And that's all on the back of doing donuts on Skyler with the bus. It's so weak. It's so low rent. It's unreal. Low brow, whatever you want to call it. Pseudo-intellectual. Obtuse. Dunning-Kruger. You name it. No, I'm not comparing context, nor would I care to. I'm comparing results and performance in the NFL. I don't give a damn what they did before they put on a Miami Dolphins uniform. When I watch college, I turn on the Miami Hurricanes. I don't give a shit what any other college is doing, nor any other player on it, until it's draft time and I can go over maybe before, the draft, few leading up to the draft. Yeah, I can look at some tape. I can look at some measurables. I give no shits about watching an Alabama football game. None. Zero. I'd rather watch paint dry. And I'm a football fan. I'm a pure football fan. I'd rather go to a high school game on a Friday night and watch my old high school than watch an Alabama game on TV. Yeah, they're not comparable contexts because the guy's got 3 NFL starts. Should we compare what Tua had done in his first 3 starts? Do we really need to go there? No, you're just going to blame that on Flores. I know. Speaking of, that's a great segue for this video that I wanted to share with everybody. Thank you, Context. You provided me a great segue here. Let's see. I'm going to hit this button here and pull this lever. Turn that knob. And then flip that switch. And then hit that triangle right there. Watch this. This is video from the after game celebrations and greetings between players of and what do you call it? The handshake after the game between the Falcons. I'm sorry, the Texans and the Vikings last week. This is Stephon Diggs greeting his old teammates in Minnesota. The reason the person posted the tweet was to illustrate that Diggs ain't quite the diva everybody thinks he is. I don't give a damn. I really don't care. I'm not a Diggs fan. I'm not caping up for Diggs here. What I want to show the video for is I had no idea what type of relationship that Brian Flores has with Stephon Diggs. I had no idea. And that's the interesting tidbit that you can take from this video, but there's a really funny part that I think just genuine football fans of the NFL and all these characters would enjoy. It's kind of funny. So I really don't care about Diggs' anti-diva campaign. That doesn't move me. But watch what happens when he greets Brian Flores after the game. Pay real close attention to what he says.
Hey, good dog. Keep it a dog. Hey, stop calling zero.
Did you hear him? First of all,
stop calling zero.
First of all, look at this greeting. I mean, I had no idea. That's some real love right there. Look at this. You a dog. That's what he said. You a dog. No, you a dog. You a dog. Now look what Diggs says. Hey, stop calling zeros. This shit's hilarious. Look at that.
Hey, good dog. Keep it a dog. Hey, stop calling zero.
I mean, that is some straight comedy right there. That is just absolutely hilarious. That's my kind of comedy right there. That I think I just became a Diggs fan. That was hilarious. They stop calling zeros. Yeah, but Big Nick, what you don't realize is you can claim it's anti-Tua. I can claim it's not. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter whether I'm anti-Tua or whether my rant is anti-Tua or not. It really don't matter. It's not going to change my day. My life is going to be affected zero. Whether Mike McDaniel makes these and Chris Greer make these choices that I think are wrong or not. If they're right, then great. How's that anti-Tua? I could easily say, based on your criteria, that Tua is anti-Tua. I mean, okay, so we're going to do this really? Because if I were to just go based on college careers and colleges they went to and opponents they faced in college, I would say that Skylar Thompson has to be better than Josh Allen or Carson Wentz or any of these other guys that came from Appalachian, Middle Western, North Dakota State, Eastern A&M Tech. What makes them better? Oh, I know. Their results and what they do when they suit up in the NFL. That's what makes them Josh Allen. I don't even know where the hell Brock Purdy went to school. I don't even care. When he wants to put on, oh, he can't. That's right, because that one's retired. But if he wants to put a 12 3/4 on his jersey and become a Miami Dolphin, then I'll know about Brock Purdy. Then I'll care. I don't know how I'm bashing Tua. I wasn't even talking about Tua. I don't have to talk about Tua. All I have to do is remind you all that in the last 7 ball games since we beat Dallas, we're 2-5. Guess what happens if we lose Monday? We fall to 2-6. When you talk about the WAR, the wins above replacement number for Mike McDaniel over Flores on the losing side, it's 1. we've scored a total of 4 touchdowns in the last 18 quarters. Nene, if you'd be so kind, put in a number of how many quarters of those 18 Skylar Thompson is responsible for. If you'd be so kind. 4 touchdowns in 18 quarters. $14 of which were run by Tua. So you can call Tua God. You can call Tua the left hand of God. You can call him. You can say he's great. You can say, I don't know what I'm talking about. You can say I'm bashing Tua. You can say I'm unfairly comparing him to Skylar. You can say that I'm whatever you want to say, anti-Tua. And I can also, Big Nick, for the sake of you, I can leave Flores out of it. Where we have scored 4 touchdowns in 18 quarters of football. Four touchdowns in 18 quarters. So if it's not Tua, like if I come to the table with you all and say it's not Tua and it's not Mike McDaniel, because we have to appeal to his authority for even going with Tua. If it's not Tua and it's not Mike McDaniel, then it's the system. And I'm here to tell you, like I did for the past 3 or 4 days, the system sucks. If you want to call me a hater, do it accurately. I'm a system hater. No, Big Nick, it's not Tua's fault. We found out this week that it's Skylar's fault, actually. So you don't see what you're doing either. And I respect you enough to know that eventually you will. 3 quarters from Skylar Thompson is not the reason we're in the mess we're in. Not even close. He's not even the 50th reason why we're in the mess we're in. Sorry to tell you. You can say, I don't know what I'm looking about. You can say, I don't know football, whatever you want to say. 4 touchdowns in 18 quarters. You tell me what league that belongs in. I see you back there, Cap. We got Mr. Proprietor himself, the dog himself.
Yeah. I was
Miami Dolphins' next head coach.
Fuck, I hope. Wearing this hat. I'm gonna wear this hat when I do it.
You ready to watch this presser with me?
Yeah, I do. But before you go, I just want to remind you.
I got a hard break in 46 minutes for Shake's drive time.
I know.
And we already had CB screaming for the link, so he's ready to go at the boys, man, tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he is. You know, he's got a lot of crying to do. That's for sure. Something you were saying that chat reached out. They were saying that you're being anti-Tua. Well, yeah, that's exactly what that says to them when you show Brian Flores, our old coach. It's not anti-Mike McDaniel.
Hamming it up with Stephon Diggs.
It's anti-Tua. That's what it is. Look, Jamie in chat, El Cap and Culler 2025 bringing accountability back to the Dolphins. God, I wish it was a voting thing. Oh, man, that would be cool.
Oh, speaking of, if you haven't hit the vote, the poll, we do have a current poll running.
Ooh.
Let me check the results real quick. We got 100 exactly so far have voted. Thank you guys all who have voted. We got 51 of you watching right at the moment, 36 likes. You got to get up the likes too. And while you're hitting the like button, make sure you vote in that poll. Who should, keyword being should, who should start Monday? Snoop, Himothy, or run the Wildcat? Currently 76%. Is that what I'm reading right? Yeah, 76% say Snoop, 10% say Himothy, and Wildcat, 14% of you are just like, F it, let's go back to 2008.
Huh.
So that means that yeah, only 10% wanted Himothy.
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I see everybody's clamoring for Huntley. And I'm excited to see what he looks like in a Dolphins uniform too, right? But number one, is this team gonna show up for him on offense? And number two, is Mike McDaniel going to just destroy the flow of the game? Is he not going to game plan? Is this Tyler? Everyone keeps talking about what Tyler Huntley can do. Oh, at the very minimum, he can make play with his legs, and scramble, and do this. Is that going to be what we're going to see? Or is Mike McDaniel going to say, hey, Snoop, you're Tua. Do Tua. Do what Tua does. And want him to play like that, not run the ball. Have him. Here's these timing routes. Get him, Snoop.
Well,
get him.
I would just think if he planned on doing that, he would just go with Boyle anyway.
Well, that's
you know what I mean?
That's kind of my point. If we're gonna go just throw it to these little tight windows and do it like this, let's do. I would think it would probably benefit them if they had Boyle go, which unanimously amongst Dolphin fans, no, they don't want Boyle. Unanimously, and I don't either. Like, this guy's on his 4th team in 6 years. He's a nobody. I'm not saying he's the worst person in the world, but he's obviously a journeyman at best, right? And I don't need to know more than that, other than if he shows me more than that. If he shows me more than that, then I'll learn more than that. How about that?
Exactly.
But the real question is exactly the same question I had last week. What's Mike McDaniel gonna do? I'm watching this game because I'm watching Mike McDaniel, not Skyler. I have an idea of what Skyler is. I have a hopefulness of what I think he could be if you got everything out of him, if you spent some years working on him, which I thought that was happening. Apparently not. And what I think would best serve him as a quarterback to operate an NFL offense. And I wanted to see if Mike McDaniel, it was in agreement with me to that. Now, crazy enough, I don't know if I'm still right about what I thought Miami should have done with Skylar Thompson at the helm. But it's certainly what I thought they should have done didn't look like what Mike McDaniel thought they should have done. And that was certainly wrong, right? So is he going to then – I have an idea in my head. So do a lot of Dolphin fans of what Tyler, a.k.a. Snoop Huntley, will look like playing quarterback for the Dolphins. But that don't mean Mike McDaniel sees it that way. We're all saying he's going to run around. Exactly. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. He could come out there and the offense look just as inept as it has been.
Right.
Outside of this offense can go just as inept as it has been. But also in the same token, we then get completely busted, collapsed pocket plays where Tyler Huntley just makes a play with his legs. Is that really something that we're going to live and die on? We're like,
not long term, no.
I mean, what that works once, maybe twice in a 3-game sample size. You got nothing. And shout out to the new member, Culler. I think he's joining because of you. Yeah, I think he's joining because of you.
We've been hitting it pretty good lately. We agree on a lot of things, and
I think so.
Similar personalities,
I think so.
Appreciate you, Manolo.
Yeah, I think you can claim that one, Culler, with all certainty. I mean, I'm
Cap's writing it down.
I'm not. I'm
one for Culler.
Culler check.
We'll have to invoice him for that.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Kevin Lee, whenever he happens to come by, has a free $10 to be used as a super chat.
Kevin Lee or Cap for life?
No, Cap. I already mentioned Caps. But Kevin Lee came in the Insomnia pre-record premiere last night and sent a super chat.
He did. The one
asked
with
you
Nene.
a question. Yeah.
He asked me a question?
Yeah. Well, he asked the panel a question, and he not realizing it wasn't live.
I got you.
So rather than ask for a refund, he opted for me to just copy the message and read it, on our next show, or next time,
Well, what's the fucking message? I'll answer it right now.
Well, I was kind of hoping he was. I don't know if I seen him already or not.
I thought I seen his ass before I got Kevin Lee. You in chat right now?
I know Kevin with no last name is in chat. He's a different Kevin. That might be Kevin Hunts. I don't know. He hasn't declared. You remember Kevin Hunts, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Like, again, I have the same questions as I had last week. I would say I have more, right? Like, is Skyler going to start? Is it Boyle? Is it neither? And it's Huntley. There seems to be overwhelming sentiment from not only Dolphin fans, but media guys. And they're looking for all these hidden messages, right? Because I keep seeing that there's overwhelming support, but there's all the beat writers seem to be grasping at straws that he's going to start. Because I haven't seen any facts of it. Just because they look enthused about him doesn't mean anything. I don't know. Anyhow, right?
Well, yeah, they all cabaled up the other day and put out a unanimous message that they think it's going to be Huntley.
Yeah, I know.
They're like forming their own little Dolphins associated press now, bro. It's funny.
Yeah, they've got they can.
Well, yesterday when Mike McDaniel's presser was scheduled for 1:15, I went to YouTube. Okay, it was up on their channel, like in wait. You know what I mean? So I opened up the show, and sat there in chat. I put a message in chat. Okay, I waited another. It was like I was there like 20 minutes early. 1:15 rolls up. The video goes unavailable. And then all of the beat writers we always talk about, Poopart, Omar Kelly, all of them start tweeting out tidbits of the press conference, dude.
Got you.
I'm like, so them bastards, man.
There's potentially something else.
Gatekeeping shit right there, bro.
That is gatekeeping, and that's narrative keeping. And you know what says?
And then Miami uploaded the presser like 2 hours later, and that's when we watched it on the show.
But what's edited out that I didn't get to see, dog? What part did I not get to see before the mics went hot and live?
Right,
what conversations had? How about when it ended? What conversations continued? I think I call shenanigans, and this is just the type of bullshit. Hold on, Culler, goddamn it! This is just type of bullshit that the Miami Dolphins be pulling on us fans right now.
They did it purely for their own engagement on Twitter, so that they would have people reading their tweets before we just went and watched it ourselves.
Did they, though?
That's what it looked like to me. I mean, every single beat writer started tweeting out tweets from the press conference.
I know that, right? And I get it.
Well, I know what you're saying from the Dolphins' perspective. I'm talking about from the beat writers caballing up.
So they didn't cabal up, Culler. They didn't cabal. Miami Dolphins did this, Culler. Don't you see?
Well, I know they would have had to. I'm saying
it's not just that. Hold on.
I'm saying though, when the beat writers collectively went to the Dolphins and said, "Hey, can you take that down so we can get our little gig out of it?"
That's not what happened, Culler. Collectively, the fucking beat writers ain't got no dick to swing.
Well, we already know that they're controlled, that they're have a controlled narrative. I already know that.
That's my point. Dolphins say, "Hey, we need a little. We're gonna throw you all a bone." Media getting the buck. Guess what? Y'all get first bite and some shit we ain't gonna put on there that nobody could talk about.
Right.
But
of course,
just remember,
right.
Shit getting rough out there on these streets.
And what incentive does the Dolphins beat writers have to play ball? The incentive is you take down that live video and we get to tweet out and get engagement on Twitter. You see what I'm saying? That's their payment.
Hey, hold up.
So thank you, Manolo, who has now gifted the ability to use the Fins Tailgate emoticons to 5 other people. by way of gifting 5 memberships. That's the one thing I always forget to tell people. You can gift memberships too if you want some other people to be able to use the
Yo,
emoticons.
look who got it.
You know,
Look who got
on
it.
it.
That's right. Look who got one.
Oh no. Look at him. Don't give me that.
Jose got it too.
Oh,
no,
wow.
Jose's
It's
had
not
his.
showing me that in it's is it showing me that? Oh yeah. It doesn't
That
show me
is
in.
fucking hilarious, bro.
Yeah, that is great. Who else?
That's right. Hey, guess what? Everybody in chat, just remember, he didn't get gifted that. He'd be paying us for this content. We keep his show. We keep the lights on over there. He needs to have something to argue with. You're welcome, TD83.
He was just giving it a little time before renewing in case something like this happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's always been a member. He's just on that other account and forgot to change the name. That's what happened.
He pays bi-weekly. I mean, bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly. That's right. Because he bye. Oh man, that's
He's like, I'm
funny.
trying to give it away. Oh, come on.
Yeah, stop lying, dog. You support.
Now
lie.
I gotta respect CB's comments in chat because he's green. Yeah, he's like, no.
That's
I have
hilarious.
to read every one of them now because he's green.
But so a couple of things, Culler, because like to me, this isn't the beat writers conniving together in some way. That's not what happened, right? What happened is these guys have been let in to the inner circle of damage control for whatever's going on.
Right.
And I find it crazy, right? That either I just want to know a little further.
Call it a
happened.
residual benefit, if you will, then.
Well, yes.
Is that they get to gatekeep it and tweet out and get engagement on Twitter for all their tweets. I mean, that's just you could just call it residual benefit if you want.
I mean, yes, I guess, but like the to me
well,
it was intentional, Culler. It was intentional. Yesterday. I know that, and it was intentional to them on what and why they did it. And the intention is why. Let's just take simple facts. Dolphins cancel the live presser that they typically always have on the day they have, but didn't cancel the live presser. They just canceled broadcasting.
No, they just made it unavailable on YouTube.
That's right. You were unavailable to be there and witness and watch, right? So because of that, what was the only byproduct of that? You weren't able to take part in watching it live. Neither was anyone else. Now, there's 2 reasons for this. One, there's a financial reason that I can make a line to that. Hey, listen, these people buy press passes. They're in the room. They have all this stuff. There's a lot of financial stuff on there. So because of that, they've got to go ahead and give them something for their money. That's an easy pick on there, right? And then on the other side, it's why are the Dolphins being so kind? What do they care? You know what I'm saying? They don't have to either way. So what the intent was going to be, no matter what, was to stop us, you, anyone from watching it live. Meanwhile, them having the scoop the whole time. Well, what scoop did they get? I know what's presented to me now, but how the fuck do I know that's what happened live? I couldn't be there live.
On top of the fact that whatever
I gotta take it secondhand in the edited version as gospel now.
Of course, that's a concern as well. But the point of it is also that you don't get the opportunity, to get your own engagement off it. Like, in other words, what incentive do the Dolphins have of propping them up? The Dolphins could have very well made it unavailable to them too, and not let them bring their cell phones in to tweet out, and they could have tweeted it out on the Miami Dolphins Twitter account.
Well, again,
made all the
one thing was,
you see what I'm saying?
Now we're gonna pull another layer, right? Consensus of the breaking stuff that they withheld from us, that they gave to the media, was the overwhelming sentiment that Snoop finna get some snaps now.
Well, probably. But here, what I was saying a second ago that I kind of got distracted and missed what I was actually pointing out was that regardless of whether the information is edited or not, it's also made exclusive to those beat writers for about 2 or 3 hours. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. They have time to not only
So even
take
the
the video,
lies,
byproduct, write up
lies,
stories, and
right,
print them.
right. So not only not you, if
But
you're,
Color, wouldn't you say this is exactly how in like a communist
gonna say,
country they would
if-
control the fucking media output from
if
some
I
shit
were to
like that?
follow your line, if I were to follow your
What
line,
kind of
and
fucking
say,
shit are we running here, Color?
hold
This is
on,
un-American.
if I were to follow your line and say that they're liars, then they're also being gatekeeping liars. They're gatekeeping lies.
And who gatekeeps and lies and has the media sprinkled in their
Right.
Color?
And
Who
that's
does
how
that?
but that's how a lie works, bro. Because listen, if I'm identifying that they're gatekeeping information and I spend all my effort and time and energy and focus into getting past that gate, once I'm in, I'm going to believe anything fed to me. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Once I'm
So it's
that's how.
gatekeeping a lie, because then the lie becomes more believable when you break through the gate.
What? No. Whoa, hold on. Now I'm fucking confused, Color. I
So
zoned
you're
out there. I'm not gonna
gatekeeping
lie,
a
Color.
lie,
They're
so that
gatekeeping
when
a lie.
somebody breaks through the gate, they're easily more accept that lie.
How am I breaking through the gate?
Well, they let us sometimes. Whenever
they
they want to.
No, they don't.
Believe
Color.
a lie.
That's how. Well, that you're right. That's how these other people are dumb, not how El Capitan
Right,
is
but you
fucking
don't think
dumb.
that some of them, but you don't think some of them beat writers are on the phone with some of these other YouTubers? Hey, next time I'll let you scoop it. You know what I mean? Whatever. Or next time you guys can go a little earlier. You know, whatever
Color,
they're doing.
This is capitalist country, and so there's
No.
payola I'm fine with. Secret Ola, not so fine with. Controlling narrative, not so fine with. And if there's something rotten, that's what's great. I could fuck. We need to investigate, report
It
this
could
shit.
have just
Color.
been a favor to the beat writers.
It's time
what
to.
I'm saying.
Oh yeah, it could be as simple as that, right? Listen, I'll take it full conspiracy, dog. They could be talking about some real shit. I don't know. I'll go full crazy. It could be all lizard people in the fucking room and had all their masks off for the first half of the interview. That's what I know. I don't know. But we can go full crazy with it. We can go full crazy with it. I don't give a shit.
We're getting close. This presser is this one's long.
right.
There was a couple points I wanted to. I may have to do it tomorrow morning for a Saturday edition of Tough Coffee and a Cup.
I fucked up your.
No, but it's okay because there are so many tidbits in what our other coaches are saying in this presser cap. You're gonna flip your lid, dude. You're gonna be like, I can't believe what we have running the show.
No football tomorrow for me. So I whether or not I'm sure my old lady gonna have me doing.
Well, the Canes are playing tonight, so there's no interference from Canes football either.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's going to be cleanup from the storm we had. I got to get done around here.
Man, I hate to tease them for a whole nother night. That makes me look fraudulent.
Well, you know what, Color? They could donate enough to hit the goal.
You want to at least
Color.
Right,
hold on.
Right.
They could donate enough to hit the goal for tomorrow's show.
Oh, the goal. Did you watch some of that shit?
No, I didn't watch it. I just heard you tell me about it.
Oh my God, you should watch this asshole. He's just like for like eternity. Hey, everybody.
Real quick, let me explain it to the audience.
If we hit today's goal of $350 in donations, then I'll give you the rest of the show. And then when the guy he hits the goal, he's like, well, if we hit the goal, then we'll be able to start to knock out tonight's goal. So the guy never actually gets to his show. And I'm thinking, well, he could keep this going forever. He could be like, well, we hit tonight's goal. Let's work on January 23rd, 2025's goal. If we hit that one, I'll give you some show.
It's so funny. Color was telling me, he's talking to me about it. He's like, there's this guy I watch and he makes fun of these grifters on YouTube. And he goes, and there's this grifter that he's making fun of. And the guy is running a fucking game. And people, he goes, these fucking idiots are fucking giving him money. And the whole bit is, hey, listen, we got to get our fucking amount of money up today. If we can get that amount of money, we're going to be able to get to the show. And then even if they get to the amount of money, he's like, that's awesome. We finally hit the amount of money. Now we're going to be able to get to the show.
Keep begging. And that money will be used to knock out tonight's show's goal.
That's kind of what they're saying. It's crazy. Like, and I don't know. It's fucking gnarly.
He just ends up sitting there begging for the goal all day. Like you never actually get to today's show. content.
Crazy.
Even if he hits the goal, it's crazy.
It's like,
Absolutely. And people are just pouring it on him.
he's like, oh, well, we got to today's goal, but the show's pretty much over. Let's start on tomorrow's
It takes him
goal.
the whole show to beg for the $300. Exactly.
Wow.
Then he has members only shows.
Is it just
where?
random?
Oh, by the way, he has a soundbite that he made up out of nowhere. That's like, and he'll play it, and then tell you for a $50 donation, I'll play the soundbite. Like you can force him to play the soundbite, but he already played it for everybody. We can just rewind the show and listen to it again for free.
Yeah, but you get to make him do it for $50.
It's like stupid. It's like a stupid soundbite that nobody even wants to hear.
Here's the thing, dude. We're like we do this because we love doing this and love this team and this whole thing, but we ain't doing the YouTube thing right. Because there's a whole fucking gambit of just straight tap into morons.
Well,
there's this thing.
Look.
Hold on, Culler. There's this thing that keeps popping up on my reels or whatever of proving that bread can become 200 get 200,000 subscribers, and there's a counter and it's just this gif of bread standing up and falling down. And I swear to God, the last time I saw it come across, it had like 170,000 subscribers.
Wow.
It's fucking not like this is what humanity has devolved into. And when I think about, aliens come by and wipe us out, or an asteroid, or, the rapture, whatever end of how it goes, y'all deserve it, dog. Y'all deserve it.
Well,
you
the funny thing about his gig
it's crazy.
Is that he's an ex-radio guy that thinks that doesn't realize radio is obsolete and that nobody wants him in radio.
Hey, welcome on down to the 5 o'clock traffic. Gonna come on down here.
He has this imagination that he's just doing this until he gets lands a radio gig again, right? And so if you watch it from his channel every day, you might even actually start to get hooked on it like any other radio show, right?
No.
But if you watch this other guy that's calling out the grift and watch him pick apart what he's doing, you're like, oh my God, this dude is such a, there's no show here. The show is watching this guy beg for money.
It's crazy.
He'll even be like,
Culler, have you seen Culler?
No, listen. He'll be like, if we make today's goal, we'll start working on tonight's goal. And if we make tonight's goal, if I get $100 donation in one shot, we'll watch this movie on a members only show. So then he's
get to pay for the opportunity.
He's offering the stakes is you get to watch him watch a movie. If you have
a membership though, you got to get a membership though to see that happen.
Right. Oh, that's on top of that.
Yeah, well, yeah, and membership, you gotta have. There's levels. You can't just get the regular membership. You gotta get the beyond regular membership, right? That's crazy. You know what?
By the way, he's from Minnesota, and that's where. And the guy has local ads and stuff. Now it's not like us where we're talking exclusive. We're trying to talk to people, Dolphin fans, and a large portion of our audience comes from, South Florida. So if I'm telling you go eat at Flanagan's, it's going to be a little more make sense than him doing an ad for some towing company in Minnesota but he's trying to appeal to the whole country as his audience.
Well, he's
bringing is talk. He's not bringing Minnesota.
He's probably got a lot of Minnesotians in there. He carried
from his radio show.
Yeah, and that's the sad fact. That's why he's successful. He's tapped into that stupid Minnesota.
What's happened is though, as he's gotten into some scandals, as he's gotten into some scandals on YouTube, his audience is now made up of haters, just like any of our audiences are, right? So he's not talking
kind of
to
scandals are we talking about
exclusively. You know what I mean?
I feel like HB's talked about this fucking guy to me, bro. Because HB lives up.
His name is Aaron Imholt.
I don't want to fucking give this guy a plug. You shouldn't have said his name.
That lawyer, the guy that does the lawyer YouTube channel, Nick Ricada, stole his wife from him, got her hooked on freaking drugs, and cucked him, dude.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Back the fuck up.
And he's been reeling on his YouTube
the lawyer,
ever since.
The lawyer got his wife took by this guy and hooked on drugs?
No, the lawyer took his wife.
The lawyer took that guy's wife.
His wife Aaron's wife was his show co-host that was making the show popular.
And how'd he take her?
Because they all started hanging out behind the scenes, realized that they both lived an hour away from each other in Minnesota, started hanging out. This guy, Aaron, was liking the clout that Nick was bringing him in the private life.
Yeah.
And they all started hanging out, doing the thing, living. They moved, him and his wife moved in with Nick and his wife. They all started doing the thing.
Gotcha. I got you. They started living fast and free, right?
He didn't like it. He felt he stopped being into it. And next thing you knew, he was feeding Nick's kids, cleaning them up and sweeping the floors, while Nick had both of them.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, Nick sounds like the fucking guy that was. I mean,
well, it all
play
ended.
The long game.
It all came to a head, and the reason it all broke up is because he soured, moved out, and snitched on them all. The house got raided.
Raided for what? For throwing a fucking orgy party?
Damn,
he done
the house was
snitched
full
on
of guns. The house was full of guns and cocaine, according to the publicly released documents. So this is nothing I'm speculating on.
Hold on.
They found more than trace amounts of cocaine in the 9-year-old's hair.
Oh, I remember this shit.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about this shit. Oh, okay. All right. Well,
so him and Nick have been battling on YouTube ever since while they're playing it out in the courts.
Jesus Christ. See, this is what I'm talking about, bro. Like
and this third guy that I watch is picking apart Aaron as far as being a grifter. And when I say grifter, I don't mean, hey, I'm a truly a Republican, but I act like a Democrat. Not that kind of grifter. He's a capital G family from the family of grifters that travel around the country conning people. That's the type of grifter he is.
He's the guy that goes into a natural disaster area and buys up all the cars and then spit shines them and sells them at full retail price in a town and runs off.
And he's a complete buffoon. Even the content that he's holding from you, that he's carrot sticking you with, is crap. He's not even funny. He's like this lame
Culler. I think we need to
dude that's out of touch. You know what I mean?
I think we need to do a demonetized show.
Roast of this guy.
Not just roasted this guy, but like you're always finding shit like this. And I think me, you, and whoever else from the tailgate that wants to come through, just watch these programs with you, and we'll just fucking obliterate them.
Yep.
We'll
and the
just
only
call
reason
everything
I'm mentioning him here is because of the context, but also because
listen, if we're gonna clean the Miami Dolphins,
he's a Minnesota Vikings fan that actually does talk about them enough to know that it's a big part of his life. So he is he is a Vikings fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. But then we can then cross it to, hey, Vikings fans.
His show isn't based around Vikings, though.
I got that, but then we can cross it in the long term and keep it themed, because that's what you're trying to do. Because I don't even care about it being themed.
His
with
show
Dolphins
is he's trying to be this morning shock jock type radio. You know what I mean?
I got you. I'm saying we don't even have to keep it themed for our sake. I'm willing to go full tilt. This ain't even about football. We're cleaning the streets of these Dolphins fans and this fucking problem. We're cleaning the streets of YouTube as well from fucking punk asses like this. And if we got to tie the Minnesota Vikings into it, we'll go, hey, Minnesota Viking fans, y'all claim this fucking piece of shit right here.
Exactly.
Y'all, this one of your peoples, this one of y'all, y'all best come
that's what occurred to me. That's what occurred to me. Was like, what the hell is going on in Minnesota, people?
I don't know, bro. Y'all Minnesotians,
Jesus.
you got what y'all?
Y'all a bunch of heathens up there, man.
I mean, listen, one of my favorite rappers, Prof. I fucking love him. He's from fucking Minnesota and shit. He get down like a motherfucker up there. But I'm just saying, right? Like, well, I gotta see this guy. We gotta do the damn thing. And I think we should do it.
Dork, dude.
I think we should do it. I think we should do it with a couple of motherfuckers that you find out.
Now
there.
the guy
hold on, Culler, hold on, because I want to not only do that, and then maybe some of these other people that we watch YouTube, like, hey, y'all need to check this fucking guy out, and we'll watch some of his shit and just critique the fuck out of it.
Yep. Now the guy that's made it his mission to bring him down, that guy we actually might want to engage with and talk to about other reasons.
Who, the lawyer?
I had told you about before. You know
who, the lawyer?
No, the guy that I watched that roasts Aaron.
Oh. All right.
He's
Word.
just a hack comedian type that just sits there and
Hey, whatever,
know,
dog. I love me
he
a
does
good
what
old
I do
comedian.
with the Mike McDaniel pressers, basically, but with like other YouTube content.
Bet. Yeah, definitely. I'm about it. Bring
So-
everybody, dog.
So we got 15 minutes. You want to hear at least a little bit of Anthony Weaver? I love listening to this guy speak, dude. I heard
yeah.
Shake got me to watch one of his stuff from 2 weeks ago, last night or yesterday, and I hadn't gotten to it yet, Cap. I hadn't seen him speak at the podium yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just like absolutely amazed by this guy. So all these people that have been starting the murmurings of, ooh, is this another soft coup? Did we really bring him in here to take McD's spot?
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
you see this guy speak, bro, and you're like, why isn't he the coach? You know what I mean? That's the first impression I got. Why ain't this guy the coach?
Well, I posted a video of a year ago of Mike McDaniel in a press conference after the game or during the week. It was during the week. It was the same exact day a year ago. And who he was then to who we see now, I don't know who the fuck that guy is anymore, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that guy?
Exactly.
That guy does not inspire anyone.
Same thing we saw with Gase and everybody else. It's crazy.
Well, it's weird how this drop off happens once the money comes, and it's like, and it almost seems like, oh, here's the slide. Is it because
maybe that's why so many firings happen right after an extension?
Yeah. I guess I don't know.
Maybe it's just inherent. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. It's fucking gnarly though. I know that.
So,
all right, go ahead, play it away.
The great thing is we get to hear him, but also it's from today, so it's recent. So it's like he's talking about our defense now and the Tennessee game. Whereas the first time I got to hear him speak, it was already 2-week-old information. You know what I mean? He was talking about what we were going to do against Buffalo and all that. But so just we'll get a couple minutes in. I don't know if we'll get all the way through him or not, but I'll do a coffee and a cup of color tomorrow morning, and we'll go through the rest of this 57-minute presser with all the coaches. So here we go.
I was going to ask you about initially inside linebackers. So if you don't have David, obviously you lose a very good run defender, among other things. What is Anthony Walker's skill set now compared to what David gives you? What do you feel you'd be getting differently if it is Anthony instead?
Yeah, have the utmost confidence in Anthony and Duke Riley, for that matter. And we know he brings a wealth of experience to the field and to our team. I think the thing Anthony provides back there is he has a big picture understanding of what we're trying to do defensively. So, and Dave he tries to do the same thing, but he tries to very much he's a calming presence out there because he knows everybody's jobs. And if there's ever a point when anybody has some indecision or unclarity, he gets rid of that real quick. So excited to see him out there and play if David can't go.
We have a question about Jalen Ramsey and DK Metcalf. It looked like Jalen was shadowing Metcalf on the touchdown. It looked like a miscommunication in coverage. On the 21-yard one, the DK lined up across from Kendall Fuller, and it looked like on the video that Jalen Ramsey was looking at the sideline, kind of like, is this what we want to do?
Yeah.
And I know it was a broken play, but was that a miscommunication on that one?
It wasn't miscommunication. It was really just the forced tempo. So that just made it hard for them to run and switch sides and get on those same matchups. So hats off to them for forcing that issue. But hey, we made the quarterback blink. We got to get there and get him on the ground. It was a broken play. They made a good play. Like, hats off to them.
There's a big discrepancy in the numbers, the defensive numbers between first half.
I really like that answer because it illustrates the point that you can do everything right. You know what I mean? But the offense knows the play before the defense does. They're always going to have that slight advantage. So he was tipping his hat, and sometimes that's all you can do. It's not everything is so cut and dry with defense like fans expect it to be. You got to look at the overall performance of the game.
Half and second half can be pretty big. And anything you could point your finger to?
Yeah, trying to find that answer, right? We got to find a way to start faster. So how do you do that? The only way I know how to do that is to continue to approach each day with purpose and intensity, right? I tell guys, like, the NFL is an improvement league, right? There is no staying the same in this league. So ultimately, it just requires 11 guys to be disciplined on every single play. And unfortunately for us, like, we've had to have some bad things happen for us to just have that ultimate and supreme focus that's necessary to win on every down in this league.
Even Cater's interception, it looked like
love that answer, bro.
Ogba and Sealer were in there. What have you thought of the pass rush through 3 games, and what have you liked? What would you like to see improve?
Yeah, I think those guys are doing a tremendous job. And the thing about when you're rushing for is the more reps those guys get together, the more cohesion they can find, and the more they can work almost like where they don't have to necessarily talk to one another, but now they can just signal and feel what the other rusher is going to do. So I'm pleased with where we are to this point. I still think there's some plays we left out there, particularly allowing quarterbacks to get out of the pocket and extend some plays. We'll get that fixed, but have the utmost confidence in those guys and their ability and what they've done from a work standpoint to this point.
You notice the way he can answer, sort of like he's just as drawn out as any other coach.
He's fucking just being honest, dog.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. He's just as drawn out as every other coach, but he does get to a point. He does finally give you the goods as to why he was saying all that shit. You know what I mean? And you're going to see that exemplified one more time in his next answer, which is a little bit longer an answer and more detailed about something, but just the way he finally actually delivers the why behind all of what he's saying. You know what I mean? Great speaker.
What's your assessment of the run defense so far?
Yeah, not good enough, right? They're just like our first half defense. Like, there are spells where we're pretty darn good. And then there's other times where you're like, gosh, how do we allow that to happen? Ultimately, like, there's no fingers to blame. It's just a collective effort of us just cleaning it up and making sure we're setting the edge, making sure we're building the wall on the inside with our front and our backers, and ultimately make sure we get these backs on the ground. Because the last thing we want to continue to allow offenses to do is to run the ball, particularly in the end zone, right? Let's make them throw it in. So, and right now, when we get down in the red zone, we're not making that happen. So, collectively, from a coaching standpoint and from a player standpoint, we got to do better.
All right, so real quick, Culler, right there, what he said, right? Right there, what he said. They recognize, and pretty much what I heard was, when we're inside the red zone, we're not giving up the run. We're gonna take more chances on the outsides in the passing game. When they get down in there close to run it in, and that's
them beat you with their tight end and whoever else with their fade routes or whatever these stupid offensive coordinators want to do. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
That's right. So
absolutely. And
I want to see if that is put into practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But as you can see, bro, like, just, he's telling you the why behind everything. He's not giving you any goods. He's just saying, look, this is what we got to do. That particular answer is why I had brought up the possible reason why the defensive guy we just signed is 325 pounds, and gets a lot of tackles for losses. So that's likely why we brought a guy like that in. And if that's if this is the guy that plans on tutoring him up, well, there you go. Neil Farrell, I think his name was. We just signed him yesterday to the practice squad.
Okay.
He's got some good measurables and actually some decent stats. Played for Vegas and Kansas City. I think he's just a pure run stopper, but under this guy, and obviously if he's recognizing an issue, then that's, we're making a move to address that issue. That's what it shows to me if you look at the guy's measurables. Let's see. Oh, one other thing. I saw Kevin Lee popped in chat, so I'm going to quickly get to his question real quick from this morning. Who do you all see starting Monday? Mike didn't know yet yesterday, obviously, but fingers crossed it's Huntley. If Skyler goes, I don't like our chances. Well, Kevin Lee, you got your super chat answered with an entire episode devoted to that question. So there you go.
Yeah, 100%. That's pretty much how we've been getting down.
I mean, that's literally what this episode is about, is explaining why, while I think he may still go with Boyle, the right move is Huntley, and I'm gonna speak as if we're going with Huntley. So let me get back to Weaver here.
How much have you enjoyed the versatility?
Yeah, we have some studs out there, right? Calais, you can use in that same kind of mold where you can move them all over the place. It's certainly an asset, particularly to a coordinator. And you have a bunch of smart guys that can play multiple spots. I mean, you saw that with us just in the secondary as well. We suffered some injuries. We had to go out there and play with 3 safeties, and nobody blinked, nobody batted an eye. So in those situations, it's always good to have guys that have that position flexibility.
With Calais and snaps, obviously the lopsided score the last 2 weeks probably influenced why he ended up playing fewer than half the defensive snaps in both games. In a close game, do you and Calais and Austin have a comfort level where you feel like you can use him for generally more than half of your defensive snaps as opposed to under? And I know half is an arbitrary number, but it's sort of, some measuring.
That's not why he's giggling, dude.
You always go into it with a plan. And also, we know if it's a critical situation, you want to have your best players in the game. And we feel as if he's one of our best players. Do we have a kind of a light, like, rep count feel for what we want from every game? Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna be at a critical play in the fourth quarter and be like, Clash, you're at 40. Sorry, come sit down. We got to shut you down. He's not like a pitcher in the national
or Raheem Mostert
in Major League Baseball.
Let's stop it there, Culler. Let's stop it there.
Yeah, we're going to continue this tomorrow. We got 3 minutes left, but I'm glad we got to that spot, bro, because what he just said about this ain't baseball. God, I love that answer, man.
It ain't baseball,
God,
bro. And you can't treat it like baseball either with your analytics and your Moneyball bullshit. You need to treat it like what it is. A grown man's game that got to do grown man things sometimes to win the motherfucking game, much less even get a shot at the playoffs or a Super Bowl. Pitch count. Fuck out of here.
This ain't baseball, and he ain't
veteran rest. Veteran rest, pitch count. Fuck out of here.
I'm telling you. I want to say one more thing about this guy real quick. I'm going to go through some numbers just very, very quickly because we got about 2 minutes.
You got
1 minute until Shake Show starts. I have a redirect already in place, Cap, for when I end the show. It should send everybody there. So we'll get back to Weaver tomorrow morning. Coffee and a cup of color, Saturday edition. And so make sure you're hitting the like button, hit the notification bell, join us there. Very quickly on a couple of these numbers. Miami currently projected by ESPN Analytics for a 6-11 record. I always on Fridays like to go through what our efficiency rankings are. Overall, we are ranked in efficiencies between offense and defense total. In special teams, we are ranked as a team 32nd in efficiencies. That is last. In offense efficiencies, we are ranked 31st. And in defense efficiency, we are ranked 19th. Special teams pulling it up the rear end at about 29th. So those are our current efficiency rankings and our projected record from ESPN Analytics. I'm going to be joining you tomorrow morning. Make sure you're coming by, saying hi, pour your cup of coffee. We'll maybe throw a little keef in it or something. You know what I mean? Shout out to the members, everybody. Donate to the channel if you can. We sure would appreciate it. We're not going to beg for it ever, but it certainly does help us. If not, just hitting the like button. So go ahead and do that. Go to our merch store on TFTGnetwork.com. And I will be heading over to the drive time to meet you all there for the open panel with Shake Money. So y'all have a great evening. And as always, fins up. Oops, wrong one. The breaking news is the show is over. Fins up.